Hello and welcome to the Nova Moon channel. My name is Ali and today I wanted to share with you my autumnal decks, the decks that I'm using most in client readings and for myself, and the decks that bring me, I feel, the closest to source, to spirit, to the divine, call it what you will. And of course this time of year the veil is the thinnest. So I've noticed there's a theme. You may well notice the same. Perhaps I'll wait till the end to go through that with you. But let me kick off with one of my favourites. So this is the pocket edition of the Mystical Shaman. Love the Mystical Shaman deck by Baron-Reid. Comes in a tin. Oh, bit noisy. Little guidebook. Very useful guidebook. We have the number of the card, the essence, the invitation, and the medicine. I love this deck. I use it for the energies. You know, what energies might we be working with? Could we use to work with? Could we benefit from working with? So I love the fact as well that it's small. And it fits. I've only got small hands, so it fits in my hand. I also travel. I live a nomadic life, although I'm back in England at the moment, and so it's much better for me to try and fit in my 45, I think, litre backpack. You will see as we go, we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 decks. Obviously, I can't carry all 7 of those, so that's a problem. But this one, yeah, this one comes with me everywhere. Beautiful, beautiful deck. Love it. Very nature focused, very autumnal. Perfect deck, I think, for working with at this time of year. So that's the Mystical Shaman. The next deck, and this is my go-to. This is probably one of my oldest decks, and this is the Magick of You Oracle by Fiona Horne. This is a phenomenal deck. I mean, goodness me, look at that for some autumnal Samhain type vibes. I like this deck a lot. I have a favourite YouTuber when it comes to decks and readings, and her view is that this deck has a lot of the Fae in it. I would agree. I think it is very Fae-like. I also, though, use this to connect with my mother goddess, the goddess I work with all of the time, and that's Hecate. And there are definitely some references to Hecate, I feel. And this deck is fabulous. It's a good shadow deck, but it's a shadow deck that is sort of like the arm round the shoulder shadow deck. And you can use it at any time of year for anything. I, as I say, tend to use it in client readings, personal readings definitely, and not always for shadow work, must be said, but certainly if that's what you want to use it for, I'm sure that you can. So that's the Magick of You. Next deck that I'm using this autumn, I may have given it away, and it is, here it is, the Urban Crow Oracle by MJ Cullinane. Love crows, always loved crow energy, and where I am at the moment in deepest, darkest rural Sussex, there are crows everywhere, in the trees, flying around at night. It's gorgeous, really nice for me to be able to connect with the energy of the crow in real life as well as through the cards. This deck I find is a really great all-round deck. But it is, here we go, look, bit of an autumnal vibe there. It is quite good, I feel, for this time of year. But it doesn't stop me from using it at any time of year. Excuse the noise if you can hear it of the microlight that's been flying over the garden. But yeah, you can use it at any time of year. I certainly use it at any time of year, but I do feel that it has that autumnal vibe, probably because of the crow, I assume, and Samhain. Okay, moving on. So you probably can't see the theme yet, but maybe you'll see it now. So next deck, new to me, the Santa Muerte Oracle by Fabio Listrani. Goodness me, this is an extraordinary deck. Comes with a fabulous guidebook. Here we go. Actually, I say fabulous, not quite so fabulous. I do find with a lot of Lo Scarabeo decks that their translation from Italian to English is not very good. I speak a little bit of Italian, so I tend to just read what the Italian translation for each of the cards is. But I mean, look, you know, to be fair, we get a good few sentences, bit of advice at the bottom. All I'm saying is that you may have to read the sentences a few times perhaps to understand quite what Fabio Listrani meant. However, that does not detract in any way from the absolute gorgeousness of this deck. I have only very recently been working with Santa Muerte, and when I say recently, I genuinely do mean that, probably in the last 2 to 4 weeks. And she sort of started coming into my life. I've done a lot of reading of Santa Muerte. She's an extraordinary goddess and energy. Really looking forward to working with her. And this is a phenomenal deck. Now, yes, you absolutely could use this deck at any time of the year. I'm just using it this time of year, of course, because this is when I've started to work with her. But it also, of course, features in the theme which is starting to come through. Can you see it yet? Which is more shadow side, darker decks. I think you'll see it as we get to the next one. I love the darker decks. I love working with darker energies. It works for me. I think if you are someone who has perhaps experienced quite a lot of trauma in your life, quite a lot of difficulty, then you will understand how the darker energies work. And I, certainly for clients, sit in the darker energy to help them move through to the lighter energy. So these decks work perfectly for that. Having said that, I won't be using the Santa Muerte Oracle with anyone but me. This is my deck. That makes a change. I usually share them. Not going to be sharing the energy of that one. So that's the Santa Muerte. Here we have, next deck I'm working with this autumn is the Dark Mirror Oracle by Laura Sava. I hope I'm saying Laura's name correctly. This again, new to me. I was asked to read for a client, and this deck just drew me in for her, and in fact it was phenomenal. Very, very good deck. So I think it's another Lo Scarabeo. Yep, another Lo Scarabeo. So here we go, in different languages, of course. Here we are in the English language. You get quite a lot of information here for each of the cards. We have a moon phase, we have sort of a sentence, and then a visual seed, a sentence again. This is more of a quote, I suppose, and then the going dark. And it's really actually quite a useful little guidebook. But it's the cards, of course, that draw you in. And yeah, I have to say, just started working with this, probably used it 3 or 4 times, I suppose, in client readings, and it's proven to be pretty spot on. It's it makes you think. This deck makes you think. Very Samhain, I believe. I'm sure you could use this through the winter, but certainly for me it's very Samhain. Fabulous deck, really, really useful for clients and for personal readings, of course. So that's the Dark Mirror Oracle, excuse me, by Laura Sava. Next deck, so this is a new release. I believe it came out on the 10th or the 11th in the UK. This is the Lost Oracle by Fiona Horne. Fiona Horne being the creator of the Magick of You Oracle, which I showed earlier. Bit of a fan of Fiona. I do like her work. I got her second deck. The name escapes me now. I wasn't as drawn to that one, but this one, oh my word, goodness me, this is definitely my favourite deck. This is, I think, going to be my new go-to deck. So the Lost Oracle, here we go. Beautiful guidebook, actually really nice guidebook. We have the card in colour, the name of the card and the number, and then the words on the card, and then a really nice amount of information. And she has really put some time and effort into this guidebook, I feel. So it's a gorgeous guidebook, but goodness me, it's the deck what kills it for me. It's the deck what kills it for me. Here we go. Look at the back. How beautiful is that? I mean, goodness me, you know, here's your atypical Samhain vibes, autumnal vibes. This deck has been instrumental in some very interesting, important, clarifying messages for clients and for me. It is just beautiful, just gorgeous. It does have a very autumnal feel to it, I think, in the designs, in the colorways that are used. But I do think that this is an all-round, all year-round deck. And I absolutely would recommend it if you work with the darker energies. I mean, look at this. How beautiful is this card? So yeah, I think if darker energies, Samhain, autumnal type energies are those that you like, or you like nature decks, I do feel this is very nature focused, perhaps even a little Fave focused as well. But I mean, look, a bit of nature, there we go. How gorgeous is that? I would absolutely recommend this deck. Beautiful, really lovely. Very happy with this deck. Thank you so much to Fiona Horne for this gorgeous deck. So that's the Lost Oracle. Let me pop her back in her box. And finally, the last deck I'm using this autumn is the Beloved Dead, another new deck. When was this released? Quite recent. Oh, I might say that and then find it's not new. Okay, let's say new to me. New to me deck in a big box, big hefty box. So you can imagine the problems I'm going to have trying to fit this into my backpack along with everything else. This is always the challenge when you live as I do. But goodness me, this is glorious. I purposely wanted to use this deck for the ancestral readings that I do a lot of ancestral work for clients, not only reading, but I also do healing. And well, I mean, look, just let me show you this and I'll tell you how my experience of working with this deck. The guidebook, goodness me, guidebook is glorious, really good. Lots of information in color, beautifully bound. It's a fabulous guidebook. And then some oracle spreads at the back. I think it's a great guidebook. A lot of time and effort has gone into this. Carrie Paris and Tina Hardt, who created this deck. One of the things I love about it is a bit of a magpie. It's the Leo in me, is the shiny. Look at how shiny that is. Goodness me. I mean, wow. Love the shiny. So yeah, I use this for ancestral readings, for convening with spirit when I want to bring through readings around soul contracts, which of course, if you are a regular viewer of my channel, you will have seen. And the way it works is you can have the Spirit Throne card, and that you can then build on top of that in terms of connecting directly to ancestors. What I tend to do is, if this card comes up, then I know that I'm probably pretty on the mark, that I am actually talking to a particular ancestor rather than getting a general ancestral message. The cards are great. They're quite small, actually. They are possibly Rider-Waite sized. So I tend to find oracles are a little bit bigger than this, but this one, yeah, probably Rider-Waite size. Now, the Ouija card, there we go. The Ouija card, when that comes out, is also an indicator that you are actually talking to the spirit. But I have had some crazy accurate readings with this deck. every time I read. For myself, by the way, the Witch card comes out. Take of that what you will. But this is a gorgeous, gorgeous deck. Really, really autumnal Samhain vibes, particularly, of course, because the veil is thinnest at this time of year, so the perfect time to speak with ancestors. But it's a brilliant, brilliant deck. I mean, look, how can you not love that card? Fabulous, isn't it? Took me a while to see the eyes. Brilliant deck. Lots of ancestral vibes, lots of autumnal vibes, but again, I think this could be used at any time of the year. Just so happens that I do most of my ancestral readings between end of August time, really, and early New Year. I guess it must just be the weather, maybe, the vibes, perhaps subconsciously, even though people don't realise it. They also realise, as I say, subconsciously, that Samhain, end of October, is veil thin, easiest time to connect with ancestors. So yeah, that is the beloved dead. So that's my 7 decks that I am using this October, this autumn, Samhain, call it what you will. I will no doubt be using these through till the early part of next year, right through Yule. But would love to know what decks you use. Feel free to comment down below. And thanks so much. I'll see you again very soon.